This episode of Designers of the Worst is brought to you by Luchador Splash Tequila. For those times you need to sit back, relax, put your feet up, and get muy molesto drunk at work. Pairs well with unemployment and offers a striking desire to hit on Sheila in accounting. Let's find a new show and perhaps a new job.
Hello, everybody. Oh, Marcus is yawning. Already bored as hell.
This show sucks.
Listen to this shit.
Fuck.
Welcome back to this show. This show is Designers of the Worst, your new least favorite show, but an exclusively visual medium, cleverly brought to you in an audio format. And...
Yes, it's true. I am Nacho, the luchador. Maybe you have seen me on TV. Tonight, I will fight the 7 strongest men in town. Maybe the world. Nacho!
Let's just do the whole thing. Yep.
I kind of want to watch the whole thing now.
Who?
It's Nacho, motherfucker.
That's great.
So yeah, that's a hint of what we're going to be talking about today, which...
Not Nacho. Well, there is a tie into Nacho Libre, but it's it was first in the series of us actually doing research of some sort.
Yes, an deep dive into a thing.
I dove deep and came up with
Syphilis.
info and syphilis, but things I didn't expect to find, which was really fun.
Yeah.
So this episode is partially researched on luchador wrestling masks.
Which is a fantastic thing to talk about.
They're wonderful.
It's universally loved.
It is.
And
it's globally loved.
My lady was going to make luchador cookies for this episode,
right.
and then she just work.
She just work?
She just work.
Right.
She be work guy. And she working for like last few weeks. We've been working like all morning, day, night. So no cookies today. No molesto.
But we both also just had vacation.
Yeah, girl. What'd you do? We talked about it a little bit the other day, but
yeah.
Save it for the air, hot shot.
Whoa. Save it for the moneymakers. Went to the Sunshine Coast in British Columbia, which is northern coast. If you go up from Vancouver, which most people know where that is, you just keep going up along the coast and you'll find the Sunshine Coast, where it gets lots of sunshine.
Is that true?
I don't know, but it's it's higher up in the latitude. Longitude? Oh no.
Lat is across, long is up. I guess either would apply.
Yeah, it's both actually.
It's taller than Vancouver if you think about it like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So spent some
went
time
to tall
there.
Vancouver.
Turned off the phone for the most part.
Yeah.
Ignored everything and lost track of the days and the time of day. And it was fantastic. I highly recommend that other people do it. It's just turn off your phone and just drink copious amounts of alcohol and then go kayaking.
Yeah, you can't crash a kayak. Cops. Fuckers.
Yeah. I don't see any of those police kayaks. They've tried.
There's got to be somewhere that has a police kayak.
Or a police seal.
I picture in like Key West, Florida or something.
Yeah, the closest thing might be like a cop on a paddleboard. But even then, it's like at any point that gun could go off. Or if his taser hits the water.
Speaking of water authority, was it you that sent me that story about the guy in the alligator in Texas?
Yeah, that was a Florida man story where a gentleman...
but it was in Texas.
Was it Texas?
It was the first confirmed kill by an alligator on a human in over 200 years.
Well, I mean, he did it in style.
Oh, he fucking ripped the lid off this thing.
From what I understand, the alligator was being annoying.
Being an 11-foot alligator.
Yeah, it was possibly intruding on the property, I believe. And then the last thing he said was, fuck this alligator, and jumped in and was eaten by the alligator.
Seconds later.
Or maybe his fuck this gator.
Fuck this gator.
Yeah.
And there were signs up saying alligator in the water, don't swim. There's a person there saying, sir, please don't go in there. There's an alligator. And he said, fuck this gator, and jumped in. They said within seconds he was under the water.
Yeah.
So if you're going to get murdered by any kind of beast, the greatest way is to yell fuck you to it beforehand.
Yeah.
Because apparently predators think confidence is delicious.
I have a theory that I hope doesn't come true, but it would be gnarly if it did.
Yeah.
Is that with the rising temperatures of everything and the shortages of food in the water, that killer whales are going to start attacking people soon on a regular basis, and they're going to just start eating people because they can.
That's fair.
Yeah. You'll see people out there paddleboarding, and then you'll see them flying 30 feet in the air as they get tail whipped by a killer whale.
So it's going to be like The Simpsons, where the dolphins have had enough.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Well, watch out for that.
And somebody's going to yell, fuck this killer whale.
And they get
then
shot by one.
Macho Man elbow drop as they die. And so you were on vacation too, and you went somewhere magical.
Yeah, we went up to Mount Washington, which is a mountain, oddly enough. In the winter, lots of people ski there.
Not in Washington State.
No, it's a mountain, Washington, but it's Canada's Washington, which is a mountain. And I hate going there in the winter because I hate the cold. I'm Canadian. I hate cold. I hate hockey. I think Anne Murray's a bitch, and I don't like Tim Hortons.
Well,
and I spell like an American. Like I don't use U's and stuff.
Oh, you really should, especially with American clients.
But like I attribute it to growing up outside of like any neighborhood where any kids were, and I just watched a lot of TV, and a lot of it was from Washington State, and I think it just went in my head. Like when I tell my lady, like, oh, it's gonna be like 85 tomorrow, like degrees. She's like, what does that mean?
Why do you use Fahrenheit?
I know what it is.
Well, so you started with the spelling of words and moved quickly to
Temperature,
to the not using of the metric.
and I don't like NASCAR. I think spelling and temperature is what I got.
What about how do you measure your height?
I stand against a wall and I put my hand there.
Fuck.
That's a fun joke.
What unit of measurement?
Inches and feet. Meters to me is like measuring shit in stone. Like you might as well just start speaking an entirely different language. I know a meter's 3 feet. I know that when we hang out with our friends from Australia and my buddy Dave's like, oh, it's about 60 meters away. I was like, all right, 180 feet. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I don't know why. It was everything I have is an American.
Well, Canada's fucked up in that way, in that we use mostly the metric system.
Yeah.
But then in other things we do just measure by
Like feet and inches.
Yeah. It's weird.
But then
then like the 100-meter dash isn't translated to feet.
It's not the 300 feet dash, because you would think that's too many feet.
Like, that's a lot.
What is there, 150 guys running?
It's never an even number. Like it doesn't end with zeros, so that's why they don't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's a 396 feet run. Be like, how much is that?
Go boys. But then when you think about the motherland of the Commonwealth, which we're a part of, England, they do everything in like meters and stuff like that, but then they use like stone, but then they use like miles per hour for driving. They don't use kilometers.
I know, it doesn't make any sense. We should just abolish everything and start from scratch.
Oh, you should. I don't know if you ever watched that the Grand Tour show. It's like what Top Gear became. There's one where they go to China, and in the past like 30 years, China has built like all of its highways, and it's absolutely insane. Like they build highways faster than stores get built. Like they're trying to pull off the highway to get gas, and there were signs like gas station over here, and they would pull in, and the highway was built before the gas station could be built. So they had to go down like 6 exits before there's actually a gas station where it said one. Like they're building for the future. So what they've done, because there are parts of China that are like super mountainous, they built bridges over top of mountains. Like it's the craziest thing. Like it all looks like it should fall over, but it doesn't.
Is that in a recent season?
Yeah, I think it's in the 3rd season.
I'll have to check that out.
But yeah, it's like architecturally and just like wrapping your mind around how did you build that on those mountains? It's insane. Like they basically built almost like the monorail track that just goes above everything, but above mountain ranges. But it's beautiful, and there's like no cars on it because they're still developing. You know, they just built highways. A lot of people don't have cars, so they're just like flying like 500 miles an hour down these abandoned mega like mile up in the sky highways.
So if you're looking for something to do right in this time period of time that we're in, go to China. I've heard it's pretty safe, and you can fly in there right now.
And
go drive
if you like Chinese food, they have it everywhere there. They call it food.
Oh,
looks delicious.
Yeah, it's something to learn every other day.
We were away vacation, went up at a mountain. We rented a townhouse. We got up there and the whole thing was fucking filthy. Like it was like an Airbnb thing, but we were already up there and we're like, I'm not driving 3 hours home. And we're like, whatever, we'll just tidy and just make do with it. Like the place was fine and that was all good. But yeah, so after we got back, I messaged the dude. I was like, yeah, that place was dirty, man. Like, it sucked. And he gave me like a 2 out of 5 stars as like a guest. And I was, that's what it was. He gave me like a shitty rating. And I was like, what's up with the rating? And he's like, yeah, well, you left it dirty. I was like, no, we arrived and it was filthy. Right. It was cleaner when we left. So after a bunch of back and forth, I found out that he lives in Victoria where we are, and he wasn't anywhere near it. So he's paying some I'm sure like cleaning person with a bunch of teeth missing that are getting paid probably like $100 to clean the place after the fact, but they just go up there, probably, you know, take a shit, watch some TV, and then just drive home and tell them like, yeah, it's clean.
A lot of people do that with Airbnb. They'll have a cleaning company that they contract out. Yeah. And so they'll never be in the place. Yeah. Like they've never, like it'll be a long time until they see the place again.
Yeah. So that was like an ongoing thing. And then, so the morning, our first morning there, I got up and I took pictures of all the dirt and all that. And then I sent it to him afterwards. And he's like, well, is my cleaning person lying? I was like, well, look at these photos and you tell me. Yeah. You tell me if we created an inch of dust on everything in a day.
We, a group of us from work had to stay at an Airbnb. It was like a short notice trip over to Vancouver, and we had booked a place that seemed like it'd be like, oh, okay, there's a couple bedrooms. Somebody can take the couch in the living room that we assumed was there, and it'll be fine. And then we got there, and there was the single bedrooms, and there wasn't a living room, so there was no couch. And you kind of assume that, like, if you're renting a place, it should say, like, there is no common living area. Like, it's an entrance, like a hallway, the kitchen, and then the bathroom, and then the bedroom.
What do they call that? Like a bachelor apartment or something?
No, at least bachelors will have a room where there'll be like a couch or a chair. Yeah. But this didn't have anything. And so, and then in the morning when I got up, I was in the kitchen, and even in the bathroom, there was just ants everywhere. Yeah. And so when I left a review, I was like, yeah, you have ants everywhere in the house. Yeah. And also you should tell people that there's no like common living area for seating. Yeah. And they just replied like, sounds good. It's like, you don't give a shit. Like,
because we're going away again in a little bit. We're going to be, I'm off work. We're going to hang out in town for most of it. We're going to take like trips and shit everywhere. But anyway, we're looking about going to Vancouver for a few days. And we were looking at Airbnbs, and there was one, and they're all 400. Like, people that made Airbnbs fancy, that's cool, but you made everybody else raise their price. Yes. Because we have 3 kids, so we have to find a place with, that's suitable. And it's like $400 for a basement suite that it'll have like 1 bedroom and like 4 beds in that room. It's basically like a barracks or something like that. So we found one, and it was actually kind of cool. It was like a giant RV. And we rented a trailer last year. It was like a 5th wheel trailer. Right. And it was like right on the ocean. and it was like
Okay.
$70 a night. And the guy, these people had this massive property, and they had kids the same age as our youngest kids, and they just played. They had a giant sailboat in the yard that was a playhouse, and they had a pool that the kids were in. So it was
Oh.
like $70, and the trailer was like awesome, so clean. It was huge. It was whatever, everything we needed. So I was like, well, that worked out one time. So I'll check it. I'll check one of those again. I was looking around like Langley or something like that, just kind of outside Vancouver, and there's one that looked okay. The commute would have been a bastard, but then I was reading reviews, and this one person's like, yeah, the decor in it, I think they could kind of up it a bit so it's a bit more kitschy that matches the age of the RV. But aside from that, it was great. It would have been nice to have a little more charm in it. And then the person who owns it replied and says, yeah, well, we assume that you have eyes and looked at the photos before you showed up. I was like, oh, fuck, I am not staying here. Like, this person's going to be a straight up wang.
Also,
So,
that's a weird thing to make a comment about. It's like, who cares what's in there?
yeah.
That shouldn't matter.
No, it was pretty much like, hey, if you improve this and add some kind of quirky, like little 70s touches, it could be really cute. And they're like, yeah, I assume you have eyeballs, fuckface. So you saw what it was. And then the whole appeal of Airbnb used to be cheaper places and like closer to where you want to be and all that. And now they're more than a hotel in so many cases.
Well,
so it's like, why would I clean up? Why would I clean a house before I go and pay more money? It's weird.
The only advantage I've found that I try to look for is if you're staying in an area that something's happening that you are trying to get to, is like trying to find one right in the area, because there's no hotels anywhere near there. It's just going to be a pain. That or the option to have a kitchen and to be able to just buy food instead of having to go out for every meal is a plus. So if you can find a hotel with a kitchenette that has everything, that's fine, but that's the downside to it.
But I was talking to my lady about it the other day, and she was saying that she's reading an article about how hotels are all increasing their prices now because Airbnbs have increased their price. I was like, well, where's the goddamn logic? If you are now the cheaper alternative, then people will come to you, and then Airbnbs will have to change their price. But everyone's just like, I can get an extra $80 a night. I'm just going to up it. Then all of a sudden it's going to be $700 a night to stay in fucking Oscar the Grouch's house, which is a garbage can. And it's just nonsense. So
Sleeps 4.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
4 grouches. But yeah, so we were looking at places in Vancouver and all that, go for a few days, but to like stay for 3 nights in a place that would fit all of us is going to be like $900 plus like fees. It's like, it's just Vancouver. It's fine, but it's not like we could get a hotel room for less than that.
Right.
It's weird. Anyway.
So before last episode, no, there was the last episode, the burnout.
Yeah.
So there was on burnout stress.
Yeah, which
all
I'm
that jazz.
in the middle of right now. It's going
Okay,
great.
so did your vacation help in the time being?
Hell no. No, because I had to work. Obviously, work up until you're off on vacation. But I worked all my last day of work was a Friday. I worked all Friday night. I worked all Saturday. I worked all Sunday. Then we went up on a Monday. And where we were, it's like beautiful. It's on top of a mountain and all that. But to do anything is at least a 20-minute drive.
Yeah.
So anytime we want, like the kids were bored or because it was kind of cold up there and it was fine. And there's like bear alert. So it's like, don't go for a walk because you'll get munched by a bear. And I wasn't about to say, fuck this bear and just start walking in the woods.
No.
Gator style. Alligator. Yeah, not crocodile. Oh man, I'm feeling loopy. So every day was like at least an hour's worth of just driving around.
Right.
And then be like, okay, now here. And it's like, shit, it's going to start raining in like 20 minutes. Like the weather was weird and it was just so much driving. And then the kids would be like bored back at the townhouse. I'm like, let's do a puzzle or play cards. And like, it felt like working to entertain them, which is part of the gig of being a parent.
Right.
But the next chunk of time we have off, we ain't doing shit. Like we'll go hang out and do whatever, but it's going to be like no set plan.
Yeah. So where we went, there was a few other couples and some of them had like not newborns, but infants. And then
The subhumans.
another couple had 2 boys with them. one going into kindergarten, one a bit younger. And it's like, we just had nothing. So we were not like, you help out when it's like, hey, can you look after so for
no, I'm on vacation.
2 minutes while I just go take a shit. You're like, oh, okay. But we never felt the need to have to entertain. And that's a big thing. If you're truly on vacation, you should be on vacation mentally and physically. We're just like, I got nothing to fucking do today, and I'm gonna do nothing. And I have no plans, so I'm just gonna see what happens. Yes. And if I don't want to do something, I don't want to do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, that's what it's when you have time off with kids in the summer, it's like they're bored. Like every kid is like, I can't wait until the summer break and it's going to be the best and no school and all that. Then after like the second week, they're bored to death.
Yeah.
And then what happens every year is all their friends have staggered vacations. So while we're here, like 4 of their friends are gone, and then we go away, then all their friends come back. And it just happens like that every year. So I've been working from home for the past couple of days, and they'll just walk into my office, which is like part of one of the living rooms, and just like stare at me. I'm like, what? Fucking children of the corn. Like, close your mouth. What are you doing here? They're like, nothing. I was like, I get you're bored. You have nothing but options, so piss off. Please go away.
The thing is, though, that behavior, if an adult did it, it would get the same response.
Yeah.
What
the fuck do you want? So, yeah.
So you're still in the last episode's mindset.
Yeah, it was like a mad rush to get a project halfway done before we left, and then came back on a Saturday night, Sunday morning, right back into work through the long weekend. Found out that people that were tending to the project, who I said, please don't touch anything, because it's a big InDesign document. So it's like everything's spaced and done properly. Like I have my character styles and paragraph styles and object styles, and I have all that, but there's like gaps between elements I want to keep consistent. And it came back and they moved everything. So I had to spend 6 hours redoing all the alignment.
Oh.
And then it's been working till like 1 a.m. It was like all weekend. I worked all day, all night, and then like every night this week. So I'm like in the thick of burnout, but with an actual break coming up where I'm just like hang out in the yard and just like, I don't know, smoke weed and fucking rewatch Curb Your Enthusiasm for the 25th time.
I just finished rewatching The Office, all 9 seasons.
It's great, isn't it?
It's background music.
And it's insanely good, and there's no way they could make it now.
No.
Oh, not on NBC.
There's a lot of episodes that are hard to watch.
Yeah.
Some of the later episodes. Not the early ones where, like with Michael Scott, but some of the later ones are just getting tougher and tougher to watch because you can tell the writing was starting to slip. There was less people actually like contributing to it.
But then they added like Michael Scott left and they added like 5 characters.
And they just kept making seasons and dragging the storyline. And it could have been a lot shorter, but either way. So but doing these episodes should be a mental break at least.
What, these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Mini vacation.
When I was leaving to do it tonight, Ryan's like, so, you excited? I was like, no, I'm not. She's like, but you get to go hang with Marcus and talk about whatever. I was like, my brain has split in half. I've been eating Advil like it's, I don't know, pills.
Oh, right on.
And then, but no, I'm feeling better now. But,
good.
Yeah, so more break coming up and no work. I haven't had a vacation where I haven't had to work in 7 years.
Well, you should have one.
That is the goal. And then I can relax and just tell the kids to entertain themselves and then
the key is
feel
just
bad and do something with
tell people, you don't touch anything. Don't communicate with me. I will not respond. You will not hear from me. I'm off the grid. Do not attempt to get a hold of me. And people seem to respond to that, and they won't.
And like that part for me is easy because even when I'm around, communicating with me is like communicating with someone who's off the grid. They're like, yeah, I sent you an email yesterday. You didn't reply. I was like, yeah. Like, did you get it? I was like, well, yeah, it's an email. This shit, it works. Things show up. They're like, so what do you think? I was like, well, I think I'll probably read it later. And then because I'm an infant, in my head, I'm like, no, I don't want to read it. Fuck that. I don't want to read that email. But I know I have to. And then there's like this buildup of anxiety about, oh, the emails are piling up, but there's no, I still haven't completed the work I needed to do initially.
Right.
And it's like my brain doesn't have room for feedback yet.
I can't wait for the episode right after the actual vacation.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Because you'll be like, I don't care. Oh, whatever.
That would be
Ja.
Rastafari. But speaking of
Speaking
wanting
of
to like smash
Rastafari.
your head through let's say a glass window instead of on a wooden window, but that's just a wall or
Yeah.
a tree.
Those opaque wooden windows. God, they're so expensive.
They smell good though.
Did you oh, sorry to cut you off there.
Nope.
I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
Did you see the Google's image
Said the
search?
moil. Huh?
What?
Said the moil. That's a good circumcision joke.
Oh,
And cut you off. I'm just gonna do it.
right. Actually, speaking of that, from two different people, I heard them reference s'mores as schmores.
Like a schmear of s'mores?
Yeah, like a Jewish s'more.
I guess you smear the marshmallow on the
And
graham
it just
cracker?
makes me think of like how shitty languages sometimes that I knew people.
shitty or city.
It's true. Used to say Tuesday, or people who say Tuesday
Yeah.
and say Turkey.
Or YouTube.
Oh. Anyways, but you see Google image search updated their layout.
I did. I've been enjoying it.
The first time when it popped up, I was a bit angry.
Yeah.
Because it's like the immediate old man. Why did they change it?
But they did that last year for like 2 days and then they got rid of it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
But
And I
then-
liked it better.
It's good now. I understand
It's
why
good
they
now.
did it now, because at
Yeah.
first you open it and it opens up the panel and you can scroll past it and go, see you later.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
What I don't like about it, and if you haven't looked at the new thing, people listening, who I just
Is the size.
remembered that we were talking into microphones. But so when you hit like an image search result now, it opens in like a panel on the right, which is great
Yeah.
because it doesn't just like it's easier. You can still see everything. But what I don't like is because I like to look at stuff in rows so I don't miss anything.
Mm-hmm.
So when that right panel opens up, it reshuffles all of the thumbnails.
Yes.
I'm like, oh shit, which one is this? Because which one was after?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, this isn't an actual problem. I'm just being an idiot. But it was just like that. You use something in one way for so long, and then they're like, and it's the same until you hit something that everything's weird, and then you come back.
Would it make sense? Would you expect it to just shrink the thumbnail sizes and it still remains its position?
Yeah, but that would be so hard from screen to screen because then on some screens the thumbnails would be minuscule.
Google has infinite amount of monies, so
Google.
make it happen.
Oh, speaking of Google, I had a thing about something called Googie. We can talk about it in a second. Oh, but one thing, and that's a real thing. But anyway, just at the end of the burnout thing that I'm in now, the other day on the last episode when we talked about burnout, we watched that video, the animation from Headspace
Mm-hmm.
about the elephant, and it just continues at its pace, uphill, downhill,
Yeah.
and it doesn't burn out. And then I was like, oh yeah, Headspace exists. And I used to do it every day for like 6 months, and it
Mhm.
was great. And then I was like, oh, I'm too busy today, I'll do it tomorrow. And then that just like snowballs. And then I was like, oh shit, it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
So I started doing it this week again, and it's great. That little British man, he could be massive. He sounds a little in my head.
Could be.
He's very calming. But the funny thing is, at home with the kids out of school, the only place to do it is I go into our upstairs washroom and just lock the door. And I just like sit on the edge of the bathtub and do it because that's the only way no one will be like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? Or like a dog will bark or something.
Right.
So
I was going
to say the kids must think every time dad's mad, he takes a huge shit.
just the anger shit.
It's just like, Rafi, I'm going to shit out the booze.
Crap out the booze.
Yeah, crap.
Be ready to go.
We are good to go.
So as you know, I'm not active on Twitter. I actually deleted all my tweets. There's a service that you can use that
I remember you did.
I was like, I'm just going to do it. I have nothing worth saving because as it's going through it, you can see your tweets. And as the further it's going back, it's like, what the fuck? What did I post that for? So I was reading one of our local newspapers,
The New York Times.
the New York Times columnist, and there was an article in there, something about like public or legalizing of cannabis is destroying the healthcare. Or I can't remember the exact wording, and I was like, oh, this is kind of damaging. What are the facts on this? And I started reading it. I was like, what the fuck is this article? There's no actual like data from this.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the URL and it was under the opinion category,
Oh,
but there was no flag on the actual article. And it really brought up a really interesting concern of publications' responsibilities of actually flagging that stuff. And so I sent them a tweet with like, you have a responsibility to mark this as opinion, otherwise people will think it's fact.
Yeah.
And so I provided a couple examples of styles that they already use that they could easily add. And then I went back to the site 2 days later, and that article was their top article, and it was an opinion. It's like, there's a responsibility in design that I think people forget about.
Well, a lot of like I read CNN and MSNBC.
Brag.
Yeah. Hash brag. That's good. And so many of the headlines are just clickbait now. Mm-hmm. It's just like, you won't believe what this person said, and then you click on it and you're like, oh, just the same shit they always say.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's everything's just trying to get more eyeballs on it, which I get, but there's also the impetus to be truthful and not be like, sometimes news is boring. Yeah. Just report the thing.
But it also hurts good journalism.
Yeah.
And proper writing. One other thing that I noticed recently, aside from that dog shit stuff, is, I don't know, I'm sure in your day-to-day you peruse a lot of websites.
I peruse. I'm active on the internet.
Do you notice the trend in that every goddamn company says that they've reinvented the fill in the blank? We've reinvented the shoe.
Yeah,
you didn't. You didn't reinvent the shoe. No. Otherwise, it'd be called something else.
Yeah, and so I was having a conversation at work this week with people that it was the emotions were running high because I wasn't willing to give up being an asshole, and people, turns out, they don't respond to it very well. But if I keep at it long enough, I tend to get what I want. But it was just about communicating on social media, and I was like, it's too easy just to do what other people are doing. Like, we reinvented the wallet. We reinvented the shoe. Like, what is that, Bellroy company or something? I'm tired of seeing the fucking ads about we reinvented the wallet. And it's like, it's made out of carbon fiber and it holds one card. Like,
but that's also not reinventing something.
No.
It's just you've done a different version of it.
You think you're improving it, but you just... Anyway, yeah.
You can't reinvent something. It's an invention. It's the language of it, I think, that gets me.
Yeah. So I had the conversation about, like, when we're about to launch this brand that I've been working on for a couple of months, it's like we can't fall into what everybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we put hashtag YOLO or something on one of the posts, like, we're assholes. Like, what you feel is popular gets super diluted and becomes useless once everybody does it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we can't turn our back on everything. I was like, no, we can't just pander to people that are just like we're just more noise now. So if instead of labeling it like we reinvented the shoe, if you said something like, hey, check out our new shoe, I mean, it'd be like, oh, you have a new shoe. I have no expectations that you reinvented the shoe. Like, you have a new shoe, and I look at it, that's new, fair enough. But there's that, the worst thing about social media is it's like given everybody, including myself, the impression that they can write. And it sucks. Because everybody can't, like, reading so many articles over the past few years where it's like they use 27 words to say one simple thing. And it's like, well, like, I used to work with somebody that would do this all the fucking time. You are familiar. One of them, and it's just like this exposition of like me. It just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And now everybody has the ability to do that. Mm-hmm. And I liked when Twitter had the 140 characters because it made it succinct. And now people are like, la 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 la. It's like, ooh, part 2. Like, they're introducing where people can just write forever.
Yeah.
Instead of like, what's your punchiest thought you have right now?
Mm-hmm.
So
I came across an article actually while I was on vacation that I don't remember where I found it. I came across it, but it's one of the greatest things I've read. And it's an article about writing emails with military precision.
Oh, yeah?
And the way that this person lays it out is basically explaining, I don't know if this is accurately how the military writes emails, but
It's got to be.
the way it is that
They reinvented the email.
it basically puts all kind of not friendly, but nonsense content, just throws it out the window. So
Yeah.
some of the examples would be like you start the subject with all caps, either says action, request, information, decision, and then a hyphen, and then the subject, like
Yeah.
action or whatever, request, please review.
Yeah.
And then
Which I love when I get that. Like, please do whatever this in the subject
Yeah.
line. It's like, oh, I should tend to that right now.
exactly. And it's not to like make it more important, but it's just to get to the point of people's times. And then in the actual body of it, it's just talks about writing to the point, and then basically the first sentence should be like the too long didn't read TLDR. And then at the bottom of the email, if there needs to provide background information, that's where you put it. But everything else should be straightforward and to the point. And it's like, so I've been trying to institute that, and it's helping with writing, especially business writing.
I got an email a few years ago from a guy we both know who runs the graphic design program up at the university up island a bit.
Yeah.
And in his email footer, it's like, this email should contain fewer than 5 sentences. To find out why, click here.
Uh-huh.
And then I just clicked it. It was just an article about being succinct.
Yeah.
And then now when I write emails, just in the back of my head, I think, that's 4 sentences. I'm good. Like any more than that, then I'm just droning on.
Yeah.
And then, there were like, communicating effectively is hard when you're used to communicating however you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like every project manager should go to this military academy where they're teaching people how to read shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got a message from the project manager the other day. It just said, "Hey, Matt." And I looked at it and I was like, well, all right, I feel heyed. Back to what I was doing.
Was
and
was that it?
And then after a while, there was like, hey, so I was like, this is not a face-to-face conversation. You can't be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? Because we only know each other through project work. So, and every other time we spoke, you want something.
Yeah.
So don't be like, hey, what's up? Because the project managers would be like, oh, this is awesome. So excited for you guys. This is going to rock. It's like you're condescending to everybody in the room.
Yeah.
Like
stating what you need isn't offensive.
Yeah.
It's you're appreciating everyone else's time, including your own.
Yeah. Yeah. And for some reason, the like bubbly HR person that always has to be positive is like a trope, but in real life. And I don't understand why they have to approach it like that. Because you know what? If I'm having a great day, I don't want to be talked to like that.
Right.
Because it just means, because like, especially when it's all over Slack and shit, it's like, it's just
Don't
more
fucking say hi to
typing.
me.
It's just more typing because it's not face to face. It's on Slack. It's like, hey, what's up? It's like,
if you have to skim an email to try and find what you need to pay attention to, you're going to skim a conversation too.
Yeah. So understanding that the people you're talking to, if they're having a great day, they probably don't want to type out, hey girl, what's up? Or hey dude, you rock today. If they're having a bad day, they sure as shit don't want to be bothered with stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So always being the positive, and project managers, if you're listening, we can see when you're having a bad day. You're like, your eyes shake and you're all nervous and stuff like that. And then when we walk up to your desk, you put on the fake smile and take a breath. We know you're having a shitty day. Just have a shitty day.
Yeah.
It's not always going to be good. And when you put on that fake facade of, oh, dude, you guys rock. So happy for you guys. It's like, that is a lie.
Yeah.
So just be regular. Like, in a way, I think I would be the greatest and like / the worst project manager on the planet. Because when I think I'm just being direct,
you would think you were doing a great job, and everybody would say that guy's an asshole.
But what I've gotten over
get everything done.
Well, that's the thing. The project managers that are like, what's up, girl? Like, you're nobody's friend here.
Yeah.
Yet. Just ensure that we all get you what you need, And then if, pleasantries are exchanged over the shrimp cocktail bar, which I'm assuming most workplaces have,
They all have on tap.
then cool. But don't mix that like colloquial bullshit with like work. Like I've gotten, I don't even know how many times over my career, project managers, multiple of project managers have called me scary. They're like,
Or intense.
they're like, I've got scary a lot more than intense. They're like, I've had meetings like, yeah, so I just want to touch base. And all of a sudden I'm like, all right, I'm going to rip your arms off and eat them. Because I hate when people say that.
Aw.
Just want to touch base. I just want to connect. I was like, then you're talking to the wrong person because I have given all of my emotions to my children and wife. And beyond that, like I'm just like a corn cob filled with like burnt coal. Like you can't connect with this.
So I have two theories and two thoughts here. What's going to happen when all your kids move out? Did you just
We'll have
is it
extra
just gonna
rooms.
dial it down? And two, are you on steroids?
No,
Extreme testosterone steroids.
no, it's like when Homer was on, when he was a rageaholic and he said he's addicted to rageahol.
God.
I have like the switch and I just flip but what I've heard, and I'm sure people listening, you can tell what I look like. You can also tell I just got a haircut.
You can hear it.
Let me move it. Perfect. I've got it throughout my life since I was like an adult and life starts crushing you and you start kind of getting the face you're going to get. People ask me like, what's wrong? Like, what do you mean? They're like, you look angry. I'm like, nope, I'm fine. It's just when I have no expression, my face defaults to like Hulk smash, but I'm just like, no, I'm having a good day. They're like, oh, you just look super mad. And I get this
And
from
then you
project
go,
managers too.
well, I am now.
Yeah, like, well, how's this going? Is this going how you wanted? Even if I was mad, is this helping, motherfucker?
How the fuck do you think I'm doing right now?
So with project managers, I've got it so many times. They're like, we're afraid to come talk to you. I was like, why? They're like, because you're scary. I'm like, what you're calling scary is I don't bullshit. If I think something's wrong, I'll say, I think that's wrong. And this is why.
Yeah.
And if you placate me and give me like roundabout, oh, well, maybe we'll look at that next week. I'm going to tell you, when you say we're going to look at that next week, that means that you don't have time to think about it today, which you're also precluding me from continuing to think about it. By the time next week rolls around and you can deal with it, I will have solved it. So why are you getting in the way? And they don't like that for some reason.
You need to find you a job that caters to this
Yeah, I think-
mentality. That's going to be a whole.
Yeah.
You know what? That's. I'd like to do an episode where we find your ideal job and we get to the root of it. We find, and not just like
Yeah.
pay me to make pictures. Let's find out, because I would also like to figure out what's the structure around you. What are the other staff members and who are they and what are they like? That'll be a fun time.
Okay. Yeah. Like Matt's dream job.
Yeah.
And then let's
really figure it out.
I think it's going to be really, that's a great idea. I'm excited because I've worked primarily by myself for like 20 years.
Exactly.
Even in the two companies I work for in the past couple of years, I work by myself completely.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I've Shawshanked myself and I'm Stubbsy, or whatever his name was, getting out and bagging groceries and goes back to his halfway house and hangs himself. Like I have a hard time being socialized.
I only watched that movie in its entirety this year.
I remember when I first met you and you said you'd never seen it. And all right. God, see, I get mad already. It's good, right?
It was great.
Fucking There Will Be Blood, man.
I know that's up there. 'Cause
That's above that for me. That's like the perfect movie.
Well, I just recently watched in its entirety because I watched parts of it. In the Name of the Father.
I haven't seen that, but that's
it's a great Daniel Day-Lewis movie where like I've only seen like maybe the intro or the ending and
Like,
like
I
a little
remember-
bit in between. It's great. He puts on a clinic of acting.
I remember being a kid and there were commercials for that on, and him like screaming in the courtroom, and just being a kid and being like, that dude's like bummed, like he's and There's that and the commercial for Last of the Mohicans, where, of course, Daniel Day-Lewis plays a Mohican. But for some reason, as a kid, his head being intense stood out to me as that dude's no joke, which reminds me, I got to watch Phantom Thread still.
Which one's Phantom Thread?
His last one he did with P.T. Anderson, which apparently is a gnarly son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah. I've got to watch his. I have to watch the Daniel Day-Lewis collection one weekend.
Yeah.
One I've been wanting to watch that the missus wasn't in the mood to watch the other night was Mandy, the Nicolas Cage movie.
Don't know.
Oh, it's this really interesting artistic horror movie starring Nicolas Cage where he has to fight off these occult and demonic beings.
It sounds a lot like Drive Like Hell.
But better.
Which was great.
But better. Like
the cult where when guys turn 18, they cut their own dicks off. And I was like, yeah, you're in hell and you're watching your daughter be claimed by this cult. But none of these guys have dicks. They're all just I don't know.
So
maybe she was just looking for a change. He got all bummed out and he stole the devil's hot rod and drove it out of hell, and that was great.
Hold on, let's reverse for a sec. Why did Shawshank Redemption come up?
That's a great question.
Because you're talking about the grocery guy.
Oh, Stubbsy, Shubsy, Shrubsy, the little guy who hung himself.
It was
the
Morgan
old guy.
Freeman.
No, but the guy who went there first.
Oh, right.
He hung himself. And then Morgan Freeman saw his name on the beam above the whatever, the support beam, and he carved Red was here too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways, sounds like you've got some great stuff. I recently gave a department update on the design department.
Yeah.
And I didn't produce any slides. I did all audio.
That's pretty good.
And I even said this little discussion is going to be an all audio format for the visual team.
Yeah, good. Exclusively thing. So speaking of audio things, here's a cool thing that Apple did that I found. So Apple wanted to do public art spaces, but they wanted to do it with augmented reality. So they hired 4 that's a number, 4 prominent artists to design augmented reality art exhibits. If you go to worstdesignshow.com and check out this episode 19, I think it is, we'll have the link and all that. But basically you get to these spots and you take out the art walk, the Apple Art Walk app or whatever it is. And then these things just appear in certain spaces. So there's one we're looking at here. This guy, Nick Cave. I was all excited because I thought it was Nick Cave from Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, but it's another dude. But so what we're looking at right now is it's a photo of a building in New York, I believe. And then there's just this massive multicolored colored weirdo guy on top of a building.
It's like a paint monster.
But they all dance and move, and it's all super colorful and vibrant. And you just go into, this one, Cow Fei, she apparently designs or she's inspired by or whatever, roller coasters. So she just made it's like a roller coaster that you can look at in Central Park.
I would love for them to commission artists in every city to do this.
Yeah, it's awesome. So
because even Vancouver's got some great artists.
Yeah, and this idea about creating public art spaces, but without the huge investment of installation and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then once an art thing's installed, then it's just going to be there forever.
Well, even when Apple put out their new Mac Pro tower, and then you could view the tower in augmented reality, where you are to see how big it was. It was executed so well.
Yeah.
That it just, oh shit. So we are watching a video clip of it in action. Just hit the play button for a second.
I'm Sarah Rothberg, and today you're going to be making art using AR. When you look at AR as a tool for making art, you want to be thinking about movement, scale, triggers. You can make things disappear, you can make them appear, then play with sounds. The moth is going to be whoosh, whoosh. you're going to be able to combine the real with the virtual for
cool, eh?
making artwork. And I can't wait to see what you all made.
What? So, hold on. Is that just like, oh, here, I'm the creator of this, and I want you to go out? Oh, it's not even available anymore. Oh, I see.
So
it was an event, is what it was.
yeah, like they're encouraging people to create more with their devices using
Right.
AR. And the way they kicked it off, which I thought was cool, is just be like, hey, artists, make cool shit in the world.
I've actually I came across an app that did something similar, and I thought it was just like, oh, you use augmented reality to see all these different murals come to life.
Yeah.
But what it is, it's attached to a city, and I can't remember where. I installed it and I deleted it when I realized it wasn't going to be in that city. But basically, there's all these murals all over the city, and you go up to them and you like open the app, point your phone at it, and the murals will come to life and start animating and moving. It's like, that's amazing.
And so there was a book. See,
Oh, that's
guy
cool.
dancing on a building and stuff. And yeah, they just do it in like these huge spaces. So there's a book. I forget the publishing company shit. I know the guy Ryan who does it. But it was a book where you download an app, and then like it was an art book, and there were certain pieces in it that when you put it, they'd have like a little icon in the bottom right corner, and you put your phone over it with this app, and the entire piece of art would animate.
That's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's just kind of like, you can never get that from a book. If they did it as like an art installation, you'd have to go to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then only for the person that landed that installation could you see their stuff. And I don't know if they got it through their network or whatever it is, but it's maybe not exactly the coolest thing. And it's only the one thing. But so it's like the democratizing of art shows is it's interesting to me.
It kind of reminds me of like as a kid, you'd get those comics where you'd have the special glasses that you'd put on, and it'd be like the picture would look like static, and then when you put the glasses on, it would remove like the red or the blue, and then you could see art, and you'd be like, that's really cool. Like it was something that was there that you couldn't see normally without the use of a tool, and it just kind of, you added a complexity and a layer to whatever you were doing.
Yeah, so
that's really awesome.
Yeah, so that is like a new form of it. And again, go to worstdesignshow.com and check out the link. It's just interesting.
And also, if you think about the use of materials in large art installations, like this is a much more, I guess, environmentally friendly way to do it.
Well, they could take, like a city could take the money they would use to commission and install one art installation. Yeah. And they could do like 12 a year, AR ones, and then refresh it every year. And like it's just, I think it's cool for artists, it's cool for cities, it gets people exploring. Like I'm sure there are cities where it can be like, take our augmented art walk and just like explore the city and do all that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But an old school version is what I mentioned earlier, Googie. Googie's a real thing. Like, you know, the old like 60s kind of like architecture, like you picture Los Angeles, you picture like bowling alleys, pointy or like things, In-N-Out burgers or whatever.
Ceilings or
exactly.
roofs.
That architecture style is called Googie.
It has an actual name?
It does. So,
because I always just called it like diner.
Yeah.
Like modern or mid-century modern.
For me, it's like bowling alley that never updated.
A lot of stars that aren't perfectly symmetrical.
Exactly. And like, yeah, just like almost like how like the Flintstones lived, like with the stone things. It was kind of that weird Frank Lloyd Wright kind of era of just like big sweeping angles. And
the ultimate guide to Googie.
So I found this article on curbed.com, which is not a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan club, but luckily it did have something I wanted. And they have the ultimate guide to Googie. Now, this is the first time I ever heard this word.
Yeah, I've never heard it.
And looking at it, looks like Google, obviously. But Curb did this awesome little site. See, this is where Parallax works. Just like little layers. It's like a little chunk of a city. It's just like subtle, and it's all it needs to be.
Yeah.
So then when you get, and that typeface is awesome. This is how LA got its grooviest architecture. In the 50s and 60s, Googie became this big thing in Los Angeles, and it's where it all kind of started. So as you get through the presentation, they have
wow.
like eye-catching shapes, and it's all like super custom done.
There's a car in the bottom that I'm assuming is going to be the progress
That
indicator.
is a little progress meter. So as you
Feel that.
walk through it,
Oh.
it goes like everything's
Wow.
animated, illustrated beautifully. And then it shows you like the illustrated version of it, and then you go one more and it shows you like the actual version of it, like the 5 points car wash, and then you click it and it shows you the actual big physical shapes which are still there. The first ever McDonald's, which if you look at it on an angle,
A certain angle, the archways cross.
yeah, but if you look at it head on, it just looks like two big yellow lines holding a building up,
Huh.
which are all neoned out and shit. Vibrant color and myriad materials. And then you can see the little car at the bottom's moving along every time.
This is great.
So
See, like, this kind of falls into a certain style of car that I enjoy. And this falls right into the look of like, this architecture is so interesting to look at.
yeah, and it's still primarily there. Like they show these old like Pan's coffee shop we're looking at right now, which if you looked at the illustration, then you'd be like, oh, I totally know that style of building. And then it goes to like the actual photo where like nothing has changed in 60 years, and nor should it. It's like, it's beautiful.
Chips? What is Chips?
I know, but it's got a gnarly sign.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's rare I find an article that I'm like, this is great.
Bob's Big Boy Broiler. I think. Oh, yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, the big boy.
Yeah. So I think that's where
Randy's
Dr.
Donuts.
Evil Flew Away went.
Yeah.
in
And
and-
then this is where Simpsons
Yeah.
ripped off the
Lard Lad,
Yeah.
which is Big Boy and this
Ah.
donut shop. So Norm's Coffee
Wow.
Shop. So Norm's Coffee Shop, I assume everybody is as big of a Tom Waits fan as I am, so I don't even need to give you the reference, but I will in case one of your kids are listening. So during the live album from early 70s called Nighthawks at the Diner, Tom Waits was like born around Los Angeles, grew up there. He's been there forever. Now he lives like in like Montecito, somewhere like a little up north, but he's still in California. And then there's one point at one of the songs called Nighthawks at the Diner where he goes, I've had some strange looking patty melts at Norm's. It's just like local reference.
Right.
And then, yeah, Norm's Diner.
The thing
This
is,
it.
like with these designs like that for buildings, like if you're driving down the road, you're like, oh, I could use a coffee. Like, there's a Starbucks. Wait, what the fuck is that place?
Or
I just want to go to see what it is.
I want into the coffee spaceship and I want to drink what's inside of it.
Yeah, it could be the worst coffee ever, but it's the actual look of the building. That's incredible.
Yeah, it was great. So check out our site and just like it's light reading. Illustrations are gnarly. The photos are great. I learned more about this than I ever thought I would because I didn't know it existed, but I knew the architecture style, but I didn't know how to name. I didn't know how to. It started in Los Angeles. It's awesome.
I made some illustrations, not like this, but kind of in that mindset where I was trying to reference diner style. I'm like, okay, well, how do I make it kind of look like that? It's like, okay, there can be no even angles. Everything has to be
symmetry,
off slightly. And once I started doing that, and when you start doing it, it feels wrong.
Yeah.
But then once you get into like, this is kind of fun and freeing because like, well, maybe I'll just move this line over here, and it's not within it. You're outside the lines, and it works.
It's really the let's see what happens because you won't know until it's like that
the wall and see what sticks.
Frank Gehry or whatever it is, where he's an architect and he'll like crumple up paper just to look for new angles, and then like if you look at his, or maybe I'm getting that name wrong. There's somebody listening that's losing their mind, or everyone's just agreeing with me because I got it right. But he gets inspiration from just like fucking up physical objects and then be like, ooh, look how that sweeps in this big crazy angle.
Right.
Here, I'm going to quickly look for it. Frank Gehry.
Did he design the... well, it's now something different, but it was the Experience Music Project in Seattle.
Yeah,
it looks just like it.
Yeah, so it's just that's its own type of architecture, just like Googie is, and I don't know. It's just that stuff that's iconic and unmistakable, and you would 100% go into that building before you went into, like you said, the Starbucks or something shitty.
Of course. You see a lot of that currently is just straight lines, and there's no. I don't know. It seems like they'll kind of. I mean, granted, this was a trend too.
Yeah, but it has a soul. It has like a vibe to it rather than like modern West Coast living, which is boring as shit.
It's nice, but it's boring.
So in the same vibe, I saw a thing today like that accompanies the Googie. That what is it? Miss Maisel. That's a show, right?
Maisel Day.
Yeah. So what happened today in Los Angeles to accompany all this beautiful architecture that was already there from like the 50s and 60s? There was a map of stores and restaurants and all these places that they say it's ramping up for Emmy nominations or whatever. But they had in Los Angeles, they had Maisel Day.
Right.
So with all these participating places where they had maps to, they rolled back prices to 1950s prices. So there was there's a picture of a Chevron gas station that legitimately has 30 cents a gallon gas.
Oh my God.
So you can see below it, like
they crossed out the actual price.
Yeah, which is $3.74.
You would think that was a joke, though. You're like, that can't be real.
They did it for one day. And if you look at this map, Thursday, August 15th, that's when we're recording this. And then it's just a map of like there's ice cream places and there's a hot dog and then you can get your hair done. There's a person that they went to a dry bar, like get your hair blown out and stuff.
Yeah.
$2 because it's 1950s prices. $40 a room at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel for one day only. That's pretty awesome, eh? Like what a great like on the ground campaign to get people like, fuck, this is so cool. Like,
yeah,
I'm saving a bunch of money. I'm getting out into the city. I'm following. Like, you could go to like essentially every place on their map and spend maybe $200 and eat 25 meals and stay in 3 hotels.
Right.
What a cool campaign. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing that all those people participated and the city kind of pushed that. They get a Melburger, 35 cents.
Melburger with cheese, 45 cents.
A hamburger with cheese is 45 cents.
15-cent fries. But
Jesus.
So it's just for a day, but I don't know, it felt cool to do. And it's for a TV show that I might actually try now because I'm like, if that is the kind of creativity you're promoting with, it's probably like it wins awards and shit. Like my wife watches it, but I just never gave it a shot. But anyway, to accompany the Googie, it was Maisel Day, which just happened to be like a happy accident.
It's like a real LA theme to this right now.
Yeah. What else? Oh, it's almost time for King.
It's the King time.
What is it? What are we gonna call it this week? King Ralph, because Ralph is vomit, and it's King Ralph is a bad John Goodman movie.
Yeah, that was a bad movie. I don't have a name for it.
King Ralph it is. All right. So I pulled another one of Jerry King's gems at King Cartoons on Twitter if you want to hate being alive. So you can check out his work there. If you haven't heard this before, then I'm going to explain it real quick. He's a guy who makes bad cartoons, and he thinks he's very funny. So every week or 2 weeks, whatever, I like to share one with Marcus and get his honest opinion of it because he loves him as much as I do. And then I have a little piece of trivia after this relating directly to Lord Jerry King.
Okay.
So we're going to crank open the first panel. I remove all the dialogue from them.
That's the best part.
So we can all hear Marcus discuss what's happening. So please, word picture.
Oh my God. Well, at least this time the office or the room has a corner.
Yeah.
So there's 2 people. One is clearly in an executive chair or a billy club.
But is the other one in a chair? There's no back to it.
Well, that's, there's no chair behind him. The table, or it's a desk, is massive. And the pen holders are so far away.
He wouldn't be able to grab them.
And I'm guessing that's a laptop or a black box from an airline that went down.
Or knowing his style, it could be a toilet. He doesn't know what... Okay, if you don't know Jerry King, he doesn't know what things look like. He posts his stuff to the internet without ever going on it, being like, what does a toilet look like? So there's 2 notes here. Man,
I'm trying to figure out the angle of that laptop because the perspective is going in 3 different directions. It's amazing.
But it's like where I have my laptop right now, right in front of you.
Yeah.
Turn it 90 degrees, and that's how I like to work. I have scoliosis, and my name is Steve Caballero, and I am a MacBook user.
And he also decided to draw a filing cabinet in the corner and curtains. So the first person's looking at his watch or a diamond ring on his wrist. I don't know what that is.
It could be a toilet.
And the other person's looking surprised. So I'm guessing that his punchline is something about paying by the hour.
Oh, that would have been so much better.
Oh, man. And that he was late for his toilet appointment. I don't know.
Late for his toilet. All right, so we have by the hour or late for a toilet appointment.
Yeah.
Now, let's see what wizardry King Ralph has spun. Caption, please.
This watch may be too smart. It says that design I just created sucks.
Oh, Jerry, you've done it again.
I don't know why that sentence, it says that design I just created sucks.
Instead of the design, it says that.
Yeah.
You're expecting that something.
He has room to fit in the.
Yeah. If you got a that, you can do a the.
Oh, my God.
This watch may be too smart.
So
it
now,
says that design I just created
now
sucks.
we've established it's a smartwatch. Is his wrist broken in it? It's folded over. Like,
it looks like a candy cane.
It's basically where he's drawn it is on knuckle area with his fingers curled back. So it's like a this is so dumb.
It's not dumb.
We
just don't get it.
I just don't get why the attention to other details that don't matter.
Like wallpaper.
Is that like an H.R. Geiger wallpaper? Looks like alien skulls.
It looks like a coffee table sucking itself off. It must be a Geiger.
Also, he missed his spot.
Oh, I saw that on the corner of the desk. Yeah.
Failed.
You masked that one wrong.
I get why you show them to me. The anger builds every week, but I don't get them.
They're
fucked
awful.
Up the desk too. He couldn't decide if it was filing cabinet or the underside of the desk.
Yep.
Oh my God. These must take less than a minute to do.
Okay, speaking of his ability, his history, how he promotes himself as one of the most prolific cartoonists online. He was on Web Designer Depot like 3 a week for like 400 weeks or something. It was insane. So think about how people that only put out work online and a ton of it and promote it super heavily and is listed on other sites, like how their follower count would increase online. So Jerry King's only on Twitter. At King Cartoons. You can tell him that you love him. Not the king of cartoons, because that was Pee Wee Herman and a much better guy. But I want you to tell me your best guess as to how many followers Jerry King has. Now, remember, he's been doing this for years and years and years, has thousands of cartoons online, calls himself one of the most prolific cartoonists online.
When was his last tweet?
I don't know.
And, okay, so you want me to make a guess?
How many followers do you think Jerry King has? Over, under. Let's over, under it.
30.
Over
between 50 and 100. That's a pretty decent range.
And for somebody that's been promoting?
Yep. Oh, man, I'm going to be...
109.
Yes. Yes.
So...
Hold on. The official Twitter page of famed cartoonist Jerry King, he's not even certified.
Well, it's hard to get certified when you have 109 followers.
Captain Tony's Saloon.
Yeah, you can enjoy all this like...
Oh. I don't need to know your age. I saw you using a flip phone. Did you see that punchline?
Yeah.
So I'll just... What does it say? I'll just assume you're old. Good one.
But again, look at the hand. It's a tentacle. Again, he doesn't know what things look like. So
you know what? I'll just color one of the shoes.
Fuck it.
The reader can fill in the rest of their imagination.
So if I went into the doctor's office, that's what the cartoon was. One of my arms was a tentacle, and he noticed my phone first. I would probably find another doctor.
It's true.
It's not like, well, you look normal, but your phone's all fucked up. Like, I got a Davy Jones flipper. But yeah, once again, Jerry King, we can't thank you enough for your contributions to our lives.
Suppose he only has 40 tweets.
Let's see. The last one was April 12th. It looks like he jumped on Twitter. Okay, so in 5 years, he's tweeted 40 times. For someone who puts out nonstop horseshit all the time, you think it would be like 3 or judging by how long it would appear it takes him to make these things, he should be posting 45 times a day.
Yes.
But 40 tweets in 5 years, 109 followers. Prolific.
Use the math.
You do the math, Obama. All right, well,
let's take a break, get some air.
Take it a break.
And then step back into the ring.
The squared circle?
Yeah.
That's
what was that?
Trying to do like a Spanish rolling of the R's, and then I got really tired. I was like,
I just fell asleep mid-attempt.
All right, we'll see you in a minute. Bye.
Those eggs were a lie, Steven. A lie! They give me no eagle powers! They give me no nutrients! Sorry.
We welcome you back this very day.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder, what audio do you think we should put in that transition? We had Nacho Libre. I can't think of anything else on brand. More Nacho Libre?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
The other thing I was going to suggest was a Russian Pizza Hut commercial starring Gorbachev.
I saw that today as well.
Has been uncovered.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Was it actually him?
Yeah.
All right, well.
Yeah, it was him. He did it. He was in it.
You got to be in it to win it. I guess he won.
Yeah.
Mikhail Gorbachev ate Pizza Hut with an actor that was playing his granddaughter, and he gave a thumbs up when they're eating pizza. So if he can do it, you can all do it.
So should we jump into this?
We got to.
Okay. So this was really fun for me because I had ideas about where and when it started, wearing masks in wrestling had started. But doing some research, and I found a lot of, I mean, of course, this is all internet research. We haven't gone anywhere to do this research, but
we were not in Mexico.
It was a lot of cross-referencing of names and times to find supporting information.
Yeah.
Which really helped kind of clear things up. Some I still have some answers of but I couldn't, or questions, but I couldn't find answers to. But for the most part, I discovered as much as I could. But it was really interesting. So, of course, we were talking about luchador masks.
Lucha Libre, which one of my kids, we have a luchador video game for the Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Is it the guacamole?
No, this one's called Lucha Libre.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a WWF or WWE game, whatever, except it's all luchadors.
Right.
And he hadn't played it for a year. And I came out the other day and he was playing it. I was like, oh, we're talking about this week. And of course, he didn't give a shit. But yeah, it's a game in my house.
How convenient. So if you are unaware of Mexican wrestling, well, not necessarily just Mexican wrestling, but a luchador mask, it's a mask that a wrestler will wear over his face, usually with the eye holes out, a nose hole.
Eye holes out?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
No, they're
they've cut out holes.
Oh, his eye holes out.
I speak in Quebec. That's all it is.
Orunka dunka doo.
I went to find them, and there they were, gone. And the mouth the mouth hole is cut out.
Yep.
Nose hole, and they wear them as characters for wrestling events. So I want to go over kind of a general understanding of them or explanation, and then I want to get into the actual history of them, and kind of what they spawned, and some really interesting stuff that I found that I was so hooked into that I couldn't get away from it.
Yeah, they're like the luchador masks. They're ridiculous, but they're so cool. Like when you brought up the idea, like we should talk about luchador masks. It's like, fuck yeah, like they're gnarly. Like,
Yeah.
But it never would have occurred to me to talk about them because they're just a thing in the world that's cool. But then I never thought about them as a thing that's designed.
It is.
But then I thought when I was in Mexico a few years ago, like in the marketplace, there's like 700 different kinds.
Yeah.
It's like, it's awesome. So yeah, I'm actually genuinely interested in what you found.
So I couldn't find, like, I was looking for the main reason why wrestlers will wear masks. Like, I was really trying to find a definitive answer if I could, like going back as far as I could. And the only thing I could find was the reason why specifically Mexican wrestlers will wear masks is because they have to have a private life and don't want to be recognized on the streets.
Like an executioner back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they can work their day jobs and not be linked to wrestling, because a lot of them will have their day job and then wrestle in the evenings, the weekends.
Yeah.
So they won't be bothered by the fans, which is really interesting because it's like any other celebrity. Like when Sia, the singer, she would wear like her hair over. So for a while, like you could easily search up who she was, you'd know what she looked like. But because of that, it created some mystery.
Well, Guar.
Yeah.
Guar's gnarly.
I have no idea what they look like.
Nor should we. And now that Odorous Arungus is gone, he's departed.
Yeah.
Back to space. They have somebody new in there now, but it's just that, like, when you watch Guar or like Slipknot or like a Sia or whatever, like concealing their face, it's like, now I'm watching your character, and it's more like you seem more fun now because you don't look like anybody I know. I have no point of reference for you visually. You're just this thing that's wiggling in front of me, and it's fun. Well,
even interviews with Corey Taylor of Slipknot, like the reason they change the masks so often is because it's they see it as a changing of like what's happening culturally around them, and that's kind of their inner personality coming out. And so when they put that on and go on stage, they're not themselves. They're that character, and then they can be that character. You can
freak out.
And you can kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
When him in person, he's a super nice guy, and not the character on stage.
Well, it's cool in that way, in that it's like judge, or not, I don't know what I'm super negative for some reason. It said judge what I'm doing, or just like enjoy what I'm doing. Don't enjoy who's doing it.
Yeah.
Like, just, is this, like, when you strip away any part of me that's recognizable, do you still like it? And if you do, then we're making something you dig. Like luchadors, it's like, it's such a specific form of like wrestling or like sports or whatever. It's like theatrical, but without all like the big shit, like the WWE stuff, which is all just like tacky, and they all put on their character, and it's just so stupid. But it seems in luchador, it's like, you've come to see a show, not you come to see this guy, and he'll like say, he'll call a big fat guy a jabroni, and everyone's like, yeah, like it's all that drama that's kind of annoying.
Yeah. So one thing I couldn't find a definitive answer on was why certain masks are the color they are, or the patterns and things. I mean, some of them, of course, have something to do with the character that persona, but most of them were designed to evoke the images of animals, gods, ancient heroes, and other people. But it was always like taking that other identity, and so much so that in Mexican wrestling and a lot of other wrestling groups, they became sacred, where they only came off when sometimes a wrestler would retire. Like, that's when he revealed himself.
Yeah.
took off the mask, or when they would wrestle for pink slips, if you will.
Yeah.
And it'd be two masks versus each other, and whoever won got to unmask the person. That's a sacred thing that people just started to treasure, the identity of certain people.
That was a scene in Nacho Libre too, when it was like he started unlacing the back of his mask. Of course, that's my reference, everybody. It's your reference too. If it's not, then you're more cultured or from somewhere cooler than I am. But it was just that kind of like, no, don't take the mask off. Like this is. Like it felt like a sacred thing, and it was
The other thing too is wrestlers would don a mask after their careers kind of dwindled and they weren't as popular, and it was a way to refresh their career. And because they could don a mask, and if the general group or population or fans didn't recognize them, then they're a whole new person. They can reinvent themselves in their career and could tour as a new person, and it worked all the time.
So what I've heard as well, and I'm not sure if what you found reinforces this, but it just sparked in my mind that they would do it so that character could live forever. Where if the wrestler got too old and fucked up, and they had to go away, they
you could pass
hand it down, and then that character can be in wrestling in your city or your region or whatever for 100 years. And it's like, everybody knows that person's not 125 years old, but it's like the legend grows, which is awesome.
It's also a way to use the same wrestler in multiple cities at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a basic understanding of it. But what I really want to know and really tried to get into the heart of it was when did it start and why did it start?
Yeah.
I found out when it started, who was the first one, and I did not expect this at all. I really thought that the original wearers, the original creators, would be luchadors. Mm-hmm. They were not. They were American wrestlers.
Gringo?
They were. So the first wrestler on record that I could find that donned a mask was in 1915.
Crazy.
By a guy named Mort Henderson.
Was it a luchador mask?
No, it was just like a balaclava, if you will. So this is also a time when,
So that's like stone cold murder.
Yeah. So
that's fantastic.
This was, of course, at the time where this was not your primary job. This is your second job. And Mort Henderson he was a railroad detective in Altoona, Pennsylvania. And what that means is that he made his living by throwing hobos off trains. That was his day job. And then he wrestled. So as his character, Mort Henderson, he had started to lose matches and he was joining popularity. So I couldn't find the exact reason or anything written as to why he put on the mask, but it was definitely had something to do with trying to respark his career.
Yeah.
And he was known as the Masked Marvel. Now, how he started appearing was he would appear at ringside, sitting in the crowd, wearing this murderer mask, and would just sit there and
just putting out the vibe.
So he would sit there for a few shows, and then at one point they called him out, and he came into the ring and pinned the guy, won, and then he became the Masked Marvel. Yeah. So from and like the pictures that Matt is looking at right now, they're terrifying. Like it looks like a home invader, especially the December 15 one, the left one.
Oh,
yeah, that one's even
from the Masked Marvel to Jack Malone.
That one's even more terrifying.
Yeah, because it just looks like a burlap sack that he tied around his neck with a rope, and just like crudely cut out some eye holes and stuff. But yeah, that's like.
So to know that it was actually originated by an American wrestler, it was really fascinating to me because I did not see that coming. From that point on, I thought for sure there'd be more records from 1915 to the next instance, but I couldn't find anything until 1933. What are you looking at, Martin the Blimp Levy? Just a fat guy. So. At the time, there was a gentleman by the name of Corbin Mackey. Mm-hmm. He was a wrestler from Missouri, I believe, and he started doing the tour down in Mexico, or the circuit. Mm-hmm. And So as he's wrestling down there, he's just wrestling as himself. And there was a gentleman there named Don Antonio Martinez, and he used to make boots for boxers. That was his specialty. He was a leather maker. He crafted boots. Then when wrestling came around, they needed a bit more of a sole to their boots. Something that was more cushioning to the jumps and the impacts and the kicks.
More cushion for the pushing.
Exactly. So this gentleman, Antonio, he became friends with wrestlers, and he was making them boots. And then he started hanging around there more and more. And this guy, Corbin Mackey, approached him and said, I need some boots. And then he went on from there to say, I want you to make me a mask, make me a leather mask. And the first one that he got, of course, didn't fit. It was ugly. But Antonio didn't want to give up there. And he went back and made a couple more versions of it. And that became the first leather mask that was used in it. And
Crazy.
That's, of course, what they used. And his name then changed to the Cyclone. And he wrestled under that persona for quite a while until he was unmasked, I think, back in the States somewhere. So the first two masked wrestlers on record that I could find are American. And that's the complete opposite of what I thought what I was going to find.
Well, it's like nachos were invented for an American in Mexico.
Oh.
Where there was like some drunk American came down to the kitchen in like the resort way back when. It was like, I'm hungry. And they're like, kitchen's closed. He's like, make me a food. So they, whatever's left, cheese over the chips and just melted it. And the guy ate it. And it was nachos.
Oh.
Thank you, Americans.
So, and then after the Cyclone was wrestling and his creepy, if you look up the Cyclone mask or even Corbin Mackey.
I looked up Corbin Mackey and it had like a bunch of like
just
modern
look up,
guys.
the Cyclone wrestling mask.
Oh,
even
Google is harder than it looks. Let's assume one of these is it.
Yeah, that's definitely not it. What about Corbin Mackey wrestling mask? Just remove the Cyclone because it was under the Mexican name too, which I can't remember what that is.
Il Cyclona.
So there he is on the top left.
Yeah,
and then I believe the two pictures over is his.
Oh,
is one of his masks that he had. Yeah, that's it.
And Mascarada.
So it's
Lucha Wiki. Oh, mama.
So it's similar in the original one from 15 years prior.
It's Cyclone Mickey.
Yeah. Hurt Mackey. Other sources say Corbin Mackey.
Corbin Massey.
And see, this is where I started running into issues where people had different dates. People had different names.
He was Masked Marvel as well.
Yeah, so Masked Marvel he went under a bunch of different names a few different times. And see, that's how you, again, reinvent your name. Is new mask, new name, bada bing, bada boom, new career. But Masked Marvel has been used multiple times over the years. So let's forget about the Americans for a second. Although his signature move, El Aeroplano, is pretty great.
El Aeroplano, the airplane. That's pretty good. But his name, Moravia Enmascarada, that's a pretty sweet name.
Yeah. And then some people say he was from Ireland, but he was from the States. Anyways, doesn't matter. So the first recorded actual Mexican luchador masked wrestler I could find was El Santo.
Ooh.
The Saint.
Santa's
and that was in 42. So he donned a completely silver outfit. Silver cape, silver mask, silver everything.
Yeah.
And that was on a whim of like, hey, we need you to pick a color or go get this made.
Yeah.
So this is kind of where the mainstream fascination with luchador mask came from, or started at least.
Ooh, El Santo.
And so when he retired, he ended up, he took off his mask finally, and that's what you're seeing in the top right there. But so because of the popularity that started to grow from this, he was wrestling under that persona for over 5 decades.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
El Santo, 1963. Oh, he's looking swole, bro.
Also starring in over 50 movies.
And you can tell just by looking at him, if you see Nacho Libre, and yeah, I'm going to reference that a whole shit ton this episode because that's my biggest point of reference. But it's the Ramses mask,
Pretty
but
much, yeah.
silver.
Yeah, and the actual guy who played Ramses is the Silver King. That's his name.
Yeah.
Which he's died now, but
Thank God. The guy was a menace.
good.
Yeah, Nacho Libre killed him with his eagle moves at the end.
He did, and he has no fun at the party. So what's really cool is that his career was long, great, but because this became a really popular culture, he started to appear in movies.
Yeah.
So his name was Rodolfo Guzman Herta. So he also died in 1994. So neither of us are reincarnations. I had to double check that. But he also went under a few different names at certain points. Was El Hombre Rojo, the Red Man.
The Red Man, yeah.
El Dominio Negro, the Black Demon.
Yeah.
And the El Murcielago 2, the Bat.
Murcielago.
Yeah. So yeah, he co-starred over 52 movies between 58 and 82. And I just looked at some of the titles. They're incredible. Not only that, but the posters
would be good.
And I found some full movies on YouTube, and it's incredible because he actually uses wrestling moves to defeat. So there's like Santo versus the vampire women, Santo versus the zombies versus the diabolical brain, Santo versus the mafia killers.
And second result, Santo versus Los Cazadores de Cabezas.
So if you look up the one Santo versus the vampire women, so
is it this one?
I found a better one if you do an image search for that specific one. But I think that might be it in the middle with the question mark, but we'll see.
Oh, this one? Oh,
possibly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
It's so cool, but you'll never see. I mean, sure, you've seen Hulk Hogan star in movies as himself.
No holds barred, yeah.
And the babysitter one.
Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead.
No, there's a movie where Hulk Hogan plays a babysitter.
Oh, it's probably great.
Anyways,
yeah.
But these posters are incredible because they're all hand painted.
Yeah.
They have a luchador as the starring actor fighting something ridiculous. And so I watched a couple of them on YouTube. So yeah, he does this one in particular, the makeup is hilarious.
Yeah.
But he fights the bad guys using wrestling moves. And at one point he jumped up on a cabinet and then did a flying kick off of it. It was the greatest thing ever. So
even in this poster, and if you go to worstdesignshow.com and check out this episode, we're going to post a bunch of these. But yeah, even in the starring, the above the line, it says El Santo. It doesn't even say the guy's name as El Santo because the character would always be bigger than the dude.
So this is
that's cool.
This is the beginning of the pop culture of luchadors into mainstream, and it was so exciting to see this stuff because I'd never seen it before and didn't realize it grew to this kind of length.
Yeah.
But the other thing that came from this is the visual of seeing a luchador in a suit with a mask is
Nacho Libre again.
Yeah.
At the party.
But it changes the look of you wouldn't fuck around with somebody in a suit wearing a luchador mask. I mean, I wouldn't.
Well, it's like they say, never fight a nude man. He has nothing to lose. You're on a different level, and I don't want to tangle with you. Yeah, because they look insane when they're in the wrestling ring. You're like, oh, you're wrestling, but when it's here's my suit and my mask, it's you're Buffalo Bill. You're fucking nuts.
Yeah,
but you're quiet and huge, and I don't want to talk to you because you're gonna crush me.
So once El Santo died, one of his sons, wrestled as, I think, the Saint's son for a little while. But that just tells you it goes on and on from there.
Yeah.
So since El Santo started it all, that is incredible. That whatever that movie poster is.
Sorry. It's El Charro de. Oh, sorry, I'm saving it in the window. El Charro de la Calaveras, El Lobo Humano, El
I can't
Vampiro
tell if
Siniestro,
it's a
El
luchador with a sombrero.
Jinete Sin Cabeza. Oh, yeah, but he's like he's like a luchador sheriff
Yeah.
with a sombrero and a gun and a badge that has a skull on it.
He almost looks like who's the bad guy in G.I. Joe?
Snake Eye.
No, Snake Eyes. Cobra Commander.
Cobra Commander.
He almost looks like Cobra Commander.
He does. And then it has like a magician above him, and there's a werewolf eating a lady, and there's a skull.
You gotta have a skull.
And then there's like a still from the film where there's just like the Grim Reaper overlooking what appears to be the hero who's dead. Kind of a spoiler.
So
that's great.
So this spawned a lot of design interest into Mexican B-roll movies, and especially luchador movies and the culture of that. It's just incredible to see. So the luchador culture took it over as the mask, but they didn't stop there because the idea of the luchador mask. This was really interesting. Is that while it's had its big moments in Mexico, it crossed over to Japan, became really big in the Japanese
That
wrestling.
makes sense, yeah.
And it's still big in North America. Like, no one really owns it.
Yeah.
It is like anybody can wear it. You're not restricted to it. And that's what's really fascinating about it, is nobody's saying it's like, if you like Hulk Hogan wrestled for a while as Mr. America.
Yeah.
With a luchador mask.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. You should check it out.
That's what made him bald.
That's totally what
that
made
mask
him bald.
rubbing. I'm looking at what Santo versus El Estrangulador. So again, fuck it. They love fighting like chupacabra wolfmen down there.
Oh, yes.
And my favorite one I just saw that I should bring. Oh, El Santo versus Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Oh, Santo. El Masculine de Plata.
But he's always
That's gnarly.
He's
And
always wrestling somebody in it.
yeah,
And that's how you win.
So there's El Santo, again, another beautiful painting of him. Behind him is fucking Cthulhu, Davy Jones's older brother. And then it's versus Cthulhu, but then in the bottom has El Santo just has like some random dude in an armbar. It's like, well, Cthulhu's pretty big. I'm gonna fuck up Randy.
Yeah, exactly.
But this one I saw Santo contra Cerebro del Mal, where it has El Santo, famed wrestler, holding a machine gun.
Yes. I like the top right where somebody's just getting walloped in the face.
Yeah, wallop, and then there's another luchador ready for a hug or a fight. Then it looks like mafia dude with a gun, and then a green-faced
Almost like
evil doctor with a claw.
Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Oh, these are sensational.
So, like I know, if you're not from Victoria, there's a coffee shop, Habit, that has some of the Bollywood posters in there. And
huge
they're,
posters.
They're great, but I want to go to a place that has these posters on the wall. That's what I want to see.
The only place I found that has this kind of stuff, when I was there, I bought something, but not a bunch, was in the Seattle public market, down in like the basement-y part. There's a store that only has stuff made in Mexico. Okay. And it's like tons of cool shit. It's a pretty small store.
Yeah.
But I bought like a black skull from Oaxaca, made by the famed black clay they have there, or something like that.
Right.
And yeah, but they have stuff like this, but it's not a huge store. But yeah, it'd definitely be worth finding a place that had this kind of stuff, because like from a design perspective, they're all insane, because it's just madness, and it's all hand painted, and you couldn't use a computer to recreate this.
No.
You have to do it by hand.
It's all airbrushed, and
that's what makes it awesome.
And the colors are it's just vibrant, kind of all over the place.
Well, they're
wonderful.
They're bananas. It's just like, here's one where he's fighting like a leopard, and there's a lady just in a bikini, pretty much watching, like, yeah, just handle that leopard, man. And there's shrunken heads. Yeah. Anyway,
so with that being said, I mean, there's not honestly too much beyond there. Like I said, I tried to find like why the selection of the mask colors and things like that, to see if there was some deeper meaning, and it was just a lot of times it's your character's name, like, oh, I'm the blue demon, or I'm the fire guy, and so I make it red. And it, even with Ramses from Nacho Libre speaking gold, it was obviously a sign or visual representation of his royalty within there. And so it's great. I just love the alternative personas, how you can kind of be that other person on there.
Yeah, it's fun.
But I want you to look up a certain wrestler. His name is Love Machine.
Ooh, was that in From Dusk Till Dawn? The guy was called like Sex Machine, and he had the gun wang in his belt that he would hit the button and like the barrel would pop out.
No, I think you might be confusing merging two movies in one, because Cheech Marin is in that movie.
But that's not the guy I'm thinking of. There's a guy with like long hair.
I'm just a love machine.
Yeah, but there was
the guy with the long hair with the gun dong. He was he's a makeup and special effects artist, and I'm blanking on his name right now.
Yeah, the Sex Machine.
Tom Savini.
Yeah, and he's got the gun.
Okay, then
that's on the belt that that makes a wang that shoots in Manhattan.
Yes.
Nobody should put that many boxes of Grecian formula in your goatee because it looks insane.
He still looks the same. Well, maybe a little bit older, but
gun wang.
So if you look up the Love Machine wrestler,
let's all do it together, listeners,
with a mask. So.
So you have hearts cutouts? Oh, this guy's got boobs.
But if you look and see like the left version, so that was his luchador mask with a big heart over his face.
It's not even like clever. It's just a giant heart on his face, and he has hearts down his pants.
It's terrible. So like there was a lot of luchador masks that are like just ridiculous. But that one was one of my favorites I found. Some different
stunning
cutout configurations. Some have scarier patterns, but that one was one of my top ridiculous ones.
Oh, but so if you're listening, we're describing it's a mask, and it has a giant heart over the face. But then we're looking at it now, and the heart was actually made like probably almost like whatever like nylons were made out of. And it's red, but underneath the heart, there's another luchador mask.
Inside of his heart.
Oh, God bless him.
So, and then in looking up luchador culture and how global it's become, got a couple of fun facts for you here.
Facts are fun. You can't spell fun without facts.
So there was a cartoon in 2002 called Mucha Lucha.
Yeah, that was a good cartoon.
And did you know it was the first animation show created in Adobe Flash that went to syndication?
That makes sense. I remember when my oldest kid was less of an old kid.
Right.
And when that show would come on, like it was rarely on.
Yeah.
But I got so stoked because it was funny and it was all luchadors. And the animation style was that it's smooth because it's Flash and like the arms bend and all that kind of stuff, which a lot of stuff is now, but yeah, I remember watching that and thinking, this is rad.
I don't know what part you have in our little trivia surprise game, but this is a Nacho Libre little fun factoid. And I didn't even know this until I went a deep dive. Was that it was loosely based off of a real person?
I would assume so.
It was based off of the story of Fray Tormenta, otherwise known as the Friar Storm.
That's pretty good.
Otherwise, a.k.a. known as the Reverend Sergio Gutierrez. Gutierrez Benitez, a real-life Mexican Catholic priest who had a 23-year career as a masked luchador and competed in order to support the orphanage he directed. And sometimes he would give sermons in his mask as well.
That's fantastic. So if you watch Nacho Libre at the end, he's like fully embraced his nacho-ness, which means free nachos. And there's even like a little bobbleheady guy on the dashboard of the bus that he buys for the orphans, and he's wearing his fancy white suit or blue suit and stuff. But like he was just it's I
mean the mask is different what the Friar Storm actually wears, but it was still, I was pleasantly surprised to find I was based loosely off of a real person. And then looking at like I said, its global impact. I started to find bars, restaurants, coffee shops, games, movies, and everything named after luchadors globally. I found a Mexican restaurant in Dubai called the Luchador Restaurant. And I even found a place in China called El Luchador China. And if you go to el-luchador-china.com, you can gladly see how incredible the site is.
Typing.
It's good for audios.
Oh, yeah. Especially. Actually, I was in a meeting today and somebody slacked me and said, you type really loud, because I wasn't really listening to the meeting and I was working. So I was like, all right, I'll mute it. El Luchador Tacos and Tequila in the heart of China?
Yeah. So I was already sold on just the video it played. But then, yeah, it's like a little, I don't want to say a franchise, but there's multiple locations of this place.
Yeah.
By the Camel Hospitality Group. So luchadors in general have had a global impact, and they are embraced and loved. People love the mask. People love the culture that goes with it.
Yeah. Ooh, little churros.
And I'm always a sucker to see a luchador themed restaurant. I'm in.
When they make everything look like a fight poster, like the old school. It's got such a cool vibe and aesthetic, and it's so easy to make, but it's really easy to fuck up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's got to be on that that kind of yellowed paper, and all the colors kind of have to be like black or like red and blue, and just like big, like crudely chopped out photos. And
yeah, like if I see that stuff on a menu or on a wall, I know I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
And I know I'm gonna enjoy the food. But yeah, the Friarstorm.
Yeah, we're looking at him right now, and it's
not
what you call a fit man, but that's a dedicated man.
Exactly.
He kind of looks like Mexican Danny DeVito, but that's fantastic.
So that's all I got. But I had a
Señor
great time. I had a great time diving into it, and I really hope that any of the listeners come out with us with a greater appreciation for the luchador mask, and now understand where it came from, and kind of want to explore it more.
Yeah, so we went to Mexico a few years ago with the kids, and we were on the East Coast. So the kids already each had like a luchador mask or two at home.
Yeah.
Because they would ask for them for like their birthdays and stuff, because it's just fun. We put them on and go on the trampoline and just beat the shit out of each other. It's a good time. But we went to the East Coast, the Caribbean side of Mexico, and we're like, oh, we're going to go to the market, and the kids can pick out luchador masks. And then, rightly so, on the bus ride to like watch or to go look at the ruins and the pyramids and all that, on the way to the market, the guy, his name was like Ronaldo or Rupert or something like that. I'm blanking on it. Anyway, instead of being like, and on the left you can see, this and the jungle over here and all that, he gave us like a 45-minute lecture on how evil the Spanish are and how if you don't buy something made by Mayan hands, you're basically an asshole. And he's like, when you go to the market, you're going to see luchador masks, you're going to see sombreros, you're going to see all that Mexican stuff. Mm-hmm. He's like, that shit is not from here. He's like, that shit's West Coast. We don't do that over here. Oh. So he's like, unless you buy stuff made by Mayans, you're just buying stereotypical Mexican stuff. And I looked at the kids, and they're not really paying attention to what he's saying. And I was like, fuck, we're going to be the asshole at the market being like, luchador mask, please. But we did, because the kids wanted it and whatever. But yeah, it was like, you just assume, because you grow up in Canada as just an average white dude, like, oh, Mexico, luchadors. And then you get there and be like, oh, I'm an idiot, because it's like assuming that like Montreal represents all of Canada.
Or
it's
that
like,
from BC to PEI, there's igloos.
Yeah, which there are. And
there's summer igloos.
Yeah.
And then there's winter igloos.
The summer ones are made out of hot ice. But yeah, just the East Coast is really like, like Mayan pyramids, and it's got its whole like its own culture, own vibe, own history, and all that. And then so the West Coast would have, you know, the mariachi, the more traditional kind of touristy crap. But yeah, so I felt bad about buying a luchador mask, but I bought 3. And it said, "I'm sorry."
You didn't feel that bad. Did
But-
you have them on when you apologized? I'm sorry.
Just as I'm slipping on the third one.
It's so hot.
No mas. But I think I made good with the guy that was selling them because they're selling cold beer and everyone was like walking up buying Corona, but I hate Corona. It's just watered down water.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'll get 2 beer. And he went to grab Corona. I was like, no, what would you drink? And he's like, what? I'm like, out of all this beer, which one would you drink? And he like reached away in the back and he pulled out at least 2 like darker Mexican beers. He's like, these are the ones I drink. And then I bought 2 of those and they were so good.
Do you remember what it was?
No, because it was a Mexican. It's from there. Like I've never seen it since.
So you can't get it at your local.
My
liquor
local
store.
Mexican liquor store.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's cool. Like we really want to go to the West Coast of Mexico next to take the kids to like a luchador match. Our goal, I don't know if it's going to happen this year because it's ambitious, but it's to have Halloween here. And then the morning after Halloween, we fly to the West Coast of Mexico because that's when Day of the Dead starts. Or it's like, I think it happens over 3 days. And be down there for that. And then luchador matches and like swimming in the ocean and shit like that. So we'll see if that happens. But truly, like that, my happy place in the world is Mexico. And it's just because of stuff like this. Like we have our cultural traditions and whatever here, but down there, like it just everything seems more fun. Like let's put on a crazy mask, go beat the shit out of each other. We all just like live outside. It would seem like not like they're homeless or anything, but like when you're down there, there's giant squares where just people just hang out all the time. It's like where the weather is good, people tend to. What I can see is the culture it's more of a fun culture because people are outside doing stuff instead of like, well, it snows for 9 months, so I'm going to like write a bunch of sad poems. It's more like the music and the culture and the food. It's more vibrant and like fun. Mm-hmm. And when I grow a big mustache, I've been mistaken for a Mexican guy before, and I've never felt prouder.
Especially you with a little bit of a tan.
Hey.
I also came across these wonderful photos. I'll send you the link, but it's
that's insane.
Photographer went down and took some photos of cholitas.
Yeah.
And it's women's wrestling. But I saw them, I was like, man, these photos are so good because they're just like staged mid action.
So if you're looking at them, the women wear like big poofy dresses, and looks like they do acrobatic stuff like a lot of the Mexican wrestling does, which is awesome to watch.
Yeah.
And it's just these big sweeping dresses like mid flip. Yeah. It's just, and the colors, those are awesome.
It's all about the colors.
Yeah.
Colors are just like as I look at my attire right now, I'm wearing pretty much all black except for my shoes. But color on other people I like. Not on myself.
So that's another theory that I have about just where you live and the stuff you have and the stuff like around here. Animals are brown, they are gray, black. That's about it. There's not even with birds, it's a lot of earth tones. We don't have.
Yeah, you get the odd like lighter brown to orange, like with cougars and whatever that tone would be.
Yeah, it's very autumnal.
It is.
But then
only the birds have color around here.
Yeah, but then when you go places more tropical, like when we were in Mexico, they had super similar birds to what we have here, but then they have this like giant like yellow head. It's just like nature's providing this insane palette to draw from, and then the food's more colorful because they have better ingredients than we have up here. Because like if we only ate what we grew in Victoria, we'd eat potatoes and apples in the summer. That's about it. A lot
of root vegetables.
Exactly. A lot of tubers. Tubers, eh? But I just love when shit gets like the warmer things get as you go down towards the equator, the brighter. Like look at Carnival in Brazil. Insane.
Yeah.
It's madness. But here, we don't have shit like that because we're inside half the year.
We have Santa Claus Day parades, which are, I mean, don't get me started on how amazing those aren't.
Oh, if you've ever seen a local insurance company put 9 lights on one of their PT Cruisers and drive down the road waving at you, then you haven't lived. So, yeah, anyway, if a lottery ticket pays off tomorrow, I'm grabbing the family and we're just moving down until we get to a place where it's like palm trees, good music, good
There's
food,
some
jump in
areas
the ocean.
of Southern California that are like that.
Oh yeah, but they all shoot each other now.
That's true. The one thing I like about going to the States, not that I do that often anymore, but the embrace of Mexican food.
Well, yeah, I mean
Like-
it's actually good.
Well, hitting up a Whole Foods for breakfast, and it's
Yeah.
just a whole row of everything like I've ever looked for in a food. It's like, I will have all of this.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Cursed for being born Irish when I knew I should have been born.
Oh, hold on one second.
Now what?
Oh, what's happening?
Something was going to happen,
we
but
had audio for some
but
reason.
ads are just the worst.
Oh.
But in a second, I will do something.
So-
that-
Oh.
Okay, my friend. This one yours. This one yours.
This is like my dream party. Ramsey's in a suit.
Bien.
See? And at best, this is mildly racist. But for some reason, when Jack Black does it, it's like he's not trying to look cool. He looks like an asshole, and everybody thinks he's an asshole.
Like, that's a great Halloween costume idea, is the suit with the mask.
Yeah.
Ramsey's number one, he knows the secrets of desire. Ramses is the one, he puts the people all on fire. Ramses.
This is the one of the few movies that I'll put on and that generally puts me in a good mood.
Oh, it's
Like,
it's
it's a little
wonderful.
It's a little pleasure.
yeah. So if you're not from Mexico and you enjoy Nacho Libre as other people do, I'm sure down there it's super unpopular because.
I would, it might be
But again, Jack Black in it is obviously the worst
a character.
person
Yeah.
in that they're all like, when he's just crapping in front of Steven, and then he just like leans out of the stall and like has no shirt on. He's like, do you remember when the crowd was cheering my name and I used my strength to rip my blouse? It's just like, he's just a big crapping idiot with like a heart of gold.
Yes.
Still convinced it's offensive, but I'll never not enjoy watching it.
It's like, well, that's not the same, but like Larry the Cable Guy. The voice he uses is a character. That's not his real voice.
He is
So would
very special.
Southerners should take offense to that? He's just doing them. It's like
Yeah.
Iggy Azalea rapping. You're from Australia. Where did your accent go? I've heard other Australian rappers.
Yeah.
They sound like they're from Australia.
Yeah.
You're doing a character. Anyways.
Well, we learned a lot there.
moving
That was
on.
great.
That was, I loved this assignment. It was great.
And I think if we ever do an on-location show, it'll be down in Mazatlan or something, ringside,
Yes.
with a bunch of that corn with
During a
cheese
match.
and red powder on it.
So most of the time, like most people at least in North America, well, Canada, I'll just say Canada. Let's just generalize it to Canadians. If they have corn on the cob, most people put butter.
Salt, maybe,
Yeah. So
because butter and salt are very contrasting flavors.
over the holidays, we stopped in to see the Mrs. Aunt and uncle, and we had corn, and her uncle put mayo on his corn. I was like, oh, and then he just covered it in with other spices. Like, I like this.
Yeah.
This is what I'm into.
So how many times, say in a given month, do you say either out loud or in your head, "Get that corn out of my face"?
At least twice.
Yeah, it's up there.
I have a version of it on my phone.
So we had corn for dinner. Like we put it in the oven and like in the husk and all that twice in the past week because it's just real good. And then every time we all look at each other and say, "Get that corn out of my face."
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
There's no other way to treat it. I'm trying to find. Oh, here it is. I permanently have this on my phone all
Get
the time.
that corn out of my face. It feels
It's a
good. Looks good.
3-second video that I look at it and I go, "Oh, this makes me feel good."
Well, thank you for the history lesson.
Yeah.
That was good. When we come back, we're gonna. I have a quiz for Marcus, and we'll see how Mexican he is. If you could look at him, okay. So the fact that Louis C.K. is his mother is Mexican, I believe,
Okay, I didn't know where this was going.
and you have complexion-wise similarities.
Yeah.
You're gringo ginger,
Just wait till the 23andMe comes in. Or
and then Louis
Ancestry.
C.K. is your dad, and that explains tons of what you did to me
God.
in the bathroom with your wiener. But oh, I totally lost what I was gonna do. Fucking God, I'm so tired. All right. Speaking of being tired, while we break, I want everybody to lay their head down on their desk and have a quick nap. See you in a minute.
Song for Encarnación in my mind. Shall I sing it for you? Sure. When the fantasy has ended and all the children are gone, something good inside me helps me to carry on. I ate some bugs, I ate some grass, I use my hand to wipe my tears, to kiss your mouth, I break my vow. No, 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 Jose, unless you want to, then we break our vows together. Encarnación, 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 Encarnación. They are ready for you now.
How was your...
Fuck.
What?
I keep trying to surprise you with clips, and then I forget ads exist.
Yeah. I was just going to ask if you had a good nap.
Solid nap.
Surprise. Get that corn out of my face!
And that's just good stuff. Tried to bring the window over you could see, and it didn't work.
No, it's true. I was waiting for it.
You can't drag it by the tab. It's got to be by the bar, and that's a lesson we should all learn, kids. So speaking of cultural insensitivity, we have a quiz.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's why I was bringing up Louis C.K. before. See how Mexican you are. And then, yeah, he's half Mexican and half, well, for him, it's all Molesto. There's no Molesto with him.
It's muy molesto.
It is más Molesto. So, yeah, in order to bring this mother home, I couldn't think of anything else other than a quiz about a movie that is apparently filmed in Mexico.
From 2006.
It's also one of my kids' favorite movies. So, So, we'll see. I don't know what... I don't know what you're going to win if you pass this, other than you... I don't feel it's going to reflect at all on your knowledge about Mexico or luchadors. It's just really about the movie.
I mean, it's difficulty of easy. The average score is 8 out of 10, so
So you should be able to get
I should be able
8.5.
to. I should be able to get 10.
All right. In Nacho Libre, what is Ignacio's primary job at the monastery?
He's a cook.
He is a cook. Don't you know I've had diarrhea since Easter? I'm realizing my instinct to do the voice from the movie is uncool on the microphone. So while I was, the first like syllable was like, I was like, nope. No mas, bring it back. No ill will. It's just a good movie.
Shit.
What special ingredient is added to the monastery's food that makes it flavorful?
It's chips.
Where are the chips? And then, as we all know, Stephen.
Hold on, there's tortillas and then there's chips.
Yeah.
So,
Which are different things. There's tortilla
it's
chips.
It's chips.
Chips.
I suppose chips.
Chili peppers, all right. Who says, do you not realize that I've had diarrhea since Easter's?
One of the brothers from the church.
Yes. he's
Because it
not.
definitely wasn't Sister Encarnacia. And it wasn't Stephen.
You don't like
Unless
me.
that's what his character's name was.
His wrestling partner, his name was Stephen.
That's right.
You don't like me because I only believe in science.
Is that when he baptized them in the bathroom?
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of great bathroom scenes in there where Nacho's pooping or just like talking. All right. Who is Ignacio's tag team partner in his quest for wrestling stardom?
Is Stephen
Chancho.
Chancho is the little boy.
He's a boy. Chancho, I need to borrow some sweats.
Who sees him without his mask.
Yes, and makes his own hobo Nacho Libre mask, and then
Yeah.
all the kids make them when they see him at the end.
Yeah.
Watch it a lot. What wrestling move does Nacho use to try and finish off his first opponent?
The anaconda
Squeeze. Chicken old camel clutch.
I actually speaking of anaconda squeeze, the missus came home yesterday and
Yeah.
I hugged her and then I started squeezing anaconda squeeze. Stop it.
I say it all like you're telling me if I eat this egg, when he has to climb the cliff to eat the eagle's egg to get the powers, and it has like the dude from Fargo who gets thrown in the wood chipper, or throws in the wood chipper.
For his massive role.
After losing his wrestling matches, Ignacio is frustrated and gets some advice from Steven. What does Steven say
I like
will
how we
help
just keep
Ignacio become a
talking.
better wrestler?
We keep discussing the next question, so it's the eagle eggs.
Eagle eggs.
Badger meat.
You're saying if I eat this yolk. He's like, you tell me if I eat this yolk, I will have the greatest moves in all the world. And the guy was just like, yeah. It's like, okay, high five. All right, I'm watching this weekend when I'm not busy. Ignacio and Steven decide to crash Ramsey's party, but only Steven is able to climb the wall and sneak into the house. How does Ignacio find his way into the house?
He pretends to be one of the musicians. And walks in.
Musicians. And then sub-question, just personally, what happens when they get kicked out of the party? Who's waiting for them on the street?
The two guys that they got into a fight with early on. No, the two guys who they stole the motor cart from.
No. Two guys that they fought in the ring in a tag team match, and then they were outside waiting for them, just wearing like they're playing like
Right.
denim suit. One guy was holding a belt, and the other guy just like brought out a switchblade and like held it like super West Side Story, like whatcha. And then Steven, what does he do? Quick thinking, he takes one of the festive corns.
Oh, that's what he throws into
He
his
throws
eye.
it, goes right in the guy's eye.
Because why not?
Does Nacho win any wrestling matches during the movie?
Yes.
Let's see. Ignacio is embarrassed by the trouble he has caused to the monastery and decides to leave to go into the wilderness. What does Chancho give Ignacio before he leaves?
His lucky jade charm. A loaded pistol. His lucky machete.
But isn't it? I know it's your quiz, but isn't it the lucky machete? Because wasn't he out and he's just like hacking the tops off of little cactuses and trying to
I
drink
don't
the
remember
juice?
Chancho giving him that, though.
I think it's machete.
Well,
Or, as civic hero Danny Trejo would say, machete.
that's
He just-
how I always call it.
He just saved a baby from an overturned car. And
I'm
he's 72 years old or something.
gonna stick with my original answer.
Chancho, give me some sweat.
I'll take a hit if I have to.
How does Stephen find Ignacio after he has left for the wilderness?
He sees them in the village.
From the village. He
From
goes,
the village.
how did you find me? He's like, we could see you from the village. And he just points and like 40 feet away is his village. While Nacho built a shelter out of twigs that he could barely fit in. All right. Submit our answers. Answer is he is a cook. Yes. Chips, special ingredient. Yes. Brothers from the church. Diarrhea since Easter's. Check. His partner is Steven. Check. Anaconda squeeze. Eagle eggs. Yes. He pretends to be one of the musicians. Was it his lucky machete?
Chancho gives Ignacio his lucky machete he got from his mother before she died. Weird. I do not remember that scene.
And then he goes out and it looks like it's the first time he's ever held a machete. And he's cutting cactuses and trying to drink the juice. And it is great.
Right. Is that in the same scene in which he knocks down the beehive and throws it?
No, that's during training.
That's during training.
Him and Steven.
That's where he hits him with the arrow as well.
Yes. And also when he rubs cow shit in his face. And then he just wanders around blind with eyes full of cow shit. And then, and throws a beehive. Shoots an arrow at him, but not super hard. It just bounces off his back.
That's like so I got 9 out of 10. Do you want to post that to your Facebook wall?
I'll just...
Thanks, that'd be great.
I'll just really quickly sign up for Facebook right now. And no, I won't be friends with my family. Yeah, 9 out of 10. Pretty good.
I did a good job.
It's pretty good. And that is a Nacho Libre voice, not a stereotypical anybody voice, because I'm realizing the more I do it, the more of a dickhead I sound like.
It's an Emilio Estevez impersonation.
From Men at Work. Yeah. When they were garbage men that solved the mystery. Him and his brother.
Of who took the garbage.
It was them the whole time. That was good.
That's it.
It was edutainment.
That was the first in a series of
Investiguli.
What's the investigative matory? I can't remember.
Holy shit! What are you doing?
There's a really weird way to. I'll figure it out in another episode.
Investigative reporting.
Yeah, but it's the way that possibly Homer says it.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember.
What if it's something like when a governor is running for re-election and they say his gubernatorial campaign?
It's similar to that.
It's a crazy word.
Yeah.
Speaking of crazy word, thank you for listening. I'm so tired.
You're exhausted.
I'm loopy as shit. I got to go home and work for what time is it? I got about 3 more hours of work to do tonight.
Oh,
Viva! So if you didn't enjoy this episode, it's your first one. Listen to the other ones, and if you don't like those, you just don't like it. If you didn't like this one, it could be because my brain is broken. But God bless you, young Marcus, for doing all that research and doing a lot of the heavy lifting, because I am a broken man today.
Should we possibly chat about the next episode, or just leave it as a mystery for the next one? Because we kind of planned it out now. Well, we planned out a few.
Yeah, I have somebody, a friend, I think you know him too, who listens to the show, or he says he does, which is just as nice to me, and wants to be on the next designer versus developer.
Okay.
So we got that lined up. I like the idea of deciding what my dream job would be.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling it has something to do with picking coconuts out of a tree and being left alone. But we'll figure that out. But yeah, if you have any ideas for topics for shows and you're listening and you're like, hey, he's talking to me now. We are on all kinds of the onlines. At Worst Design Show. If you go to any kind of social media thing and type in At Worst Design Show and you don't find us, it's because we're not on it. And yeah, let us know if you have ideas for shows, because we got tons. We have a giant goddamn Dropbox paper document filled with ideas, but maybe you're going to think of something that we ain't heard of yet or didn't think of, or something that would be cool. So At Worst Design Show, check us out on social things. Speaking of social media, follow me on Twitter. That is it. Good luck finding it.
It's pretty easy to find.
I changed it.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, right, you did.
Yeah.
I can't. I
got
think I know. What
I got
it's-
bored of looking at my own name.
Oh,
So yeah, follow Marcus on social media. He
Yeah.
he deleted all his tweets except for that one he forwarded to a company.
yeah.
So you can read that multiple times.
Like, if I'm gonna be using the platform again, that I
And
should
clean slate.
clean slate and also
That was in.
be more direct with, like not just harping on companies or situations, but then
Yeah.
just actually offering legitimate solutions and I don't know, using my design intuition experience for the power of potentially good.
And I will keep doing what I do.
I
ranting.
enjoy them so much.
So if you want to enjoy it, follow me on a thing.
Called no context tweets.
Yeah, don't worry about it. None of them are based in reality, and anybody that I know or work with, because if I work with you, I probably don't know you, has nothing to do with you. It's just a coincidence that our interaction resulted in a tweet later that day. Yeah, so thank you for listening, everybody. Go to worstdesignshow.com. Check out all of our episode descriptions, all the crap we talk about, or as much as I can be motivated to post. I put up videos and links and pictures and all that kind of stuff. You can check it out. I think next episode is episode 20.
Really?
I don't know if that's a milestone in podcasting, but it feels like 20 episodes.
20 total or 20? Yeah, that makes sense. 20
20 total, yeah. So considering how long our episodes are, that's about 60 hours of quality listening.
Quality is a loose term.
Well, things can be of a low quality. They can be of a high quality. It's a way of
And,
ranking things.
Should we check in on the financials this week? And
Yep.
looks like if we round it, it's still zero.
Yep. So
And
we're
that's the
breaking
way
even.
We like it.
If you subtract all the money that we've put into this, then we're breaking even.
Yep.
Yeah, which is all right. So having said that,
Don't tell your friends. Don't listen.
don't. But if you are a cool thing, like a company that makes luchador masks or sombreros or any other Mexican thing that I enjoy, or Day of the Dead skulls, which I have a little pile of on my desk, hit us up and maybe you can sponsor us. We could be sponsored by the notion of Day of the Dead, whatever you want to do. Hey, if you're listening, you don't represent any kind of company, but you want to sponsor us as something, tell us what you wish you were and just pledge your sponsorship just
I was gonna say
in spirit.
allegiance.
Yeah. Pledge your allegiance
You
to
could even be an emotion that you're sponsored by.
a sweet emotion.
Yeah.
Steven Tyler looking at you, fuckhead. You look crazy now. You look like a mom's crazy aunt that's like, oh, the kids are all, they can smoke weed in my yard. It's fine. He looks like a crazy old woman. And on that note, thanks everyone for listening. Viva Nacho.